The quest for the Holy Grail begins in Chicago. Lovingly ripped off from the film classic Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Spamalot has everything you need for a great night at the theater. That's night with a K. From flying cows to killer rabbits, British royalty to French taunters, dancing girls, rubbery shrubbery, and of course, the Lady of the Lake. Hot off a critically acclaimed Broadway revival in 2023, Monty Python's Spamalot, the Tony Award-winning Best Musical, comes to the CIBC Theater May 19th through the 31st. Don't miss it. Get your tickets today at BroadwayInChicago.com.
Today on CityCast Chicago, Bear Stadium drama is heating up with just weeks to go in Springfield. We're showing love to a new bar in Lakeview. And what are your favorite Chicago rivalries? It's Wednesday, May 20th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. I am joined today by two amazing Chicago voices. We got Anna Deshawn back in the building. Anna, how you feeling today?
Family, I'm feeling amazing.
It's great to have you with us. We also got Brandon Pope live in the building. Brandon, it's good to see you.
Good to be seen, brother. Good to be seen.
Let's jump right into it. There's a lot going on in Springfield right now. With just a couple of weeks to go, they are still working out the final touches on a multi-billion-dollar budget. There are fights about distinct pieces of legislation around insurance rates. What's going to happen with driverless cars? How are we going to split the burden of rising energy costs with more and more data centers funneling into Illinois? And then something that has taken up a lot of gas, a lot of space in the room is the ongoing Bears saga. Will they, won't they? A mega projects bill meant to incentivize the Bears building their new home at Arlington Heights passed the State House a few weeks ago, but it's been sitting in the Senate for a couple of weeks. Pope, what's going on here, and what does the governor have to say on this?
Yeah, so Governor Pritzker said Tuesday afternoon that we have a deal on the table with the Bears that works for the Bears and works for the taxpayers. When are we going to know about that deal? Well, it all comes down to how the Senate ends up voting in the next about 11 to 12 days. And ultimately, what the House decides. The Illinois legislative session, of course, ends May 31st. That's kind of a softish deadline because anyone that follows the Illinois House knows they could just call a special session. They don't want to because that means that they got to come back, but that is still on the table if they need to. For what it's worth, Bears CEO Kevin Warren says to expect a decision in June or July. The latest twist in all this, Governor J.B. Pritzker this week publicly blasting Mayor Brandon Johnson in City Hall, saying that Chicago has, quote, no plan to keep the Bears, but still saying he's optimistic about getting Arlington Heights and the stadium package done. That stadium package itself seems to be the big finalist here, even though Hammond, Indiana was kind of thrown in as a last minute play by the Bears to gain leverage. What's really at issue is this mega projects bill. The Bears want long-term property tax certainty, roughly $850 million in infrastructure support for the roads, utilities, transit around Arlington Heights for this big mega mixed-use district they want to do with the Dome Stadium and restaurants, retail, housing, entertainment. And of course, critics are saying, yo, you guys are playing semantics right here. The team says they're privately financing the stadium, but opponents are saying taxpayers still got to pay for all those things around it, all that infrastructure, all those tax breaks, and we're still paying for Soldier Field.
The renovations you talk about on Soldier Field, those took place within my lifetime. I was in, I think, the 6th and 7th grade when that was happening back in 02 and 03. And when they put the $630 million spaceship up there.
Of course, people think it's absurd to build a whole new stadium while you're still paying the debt off the one you just tried to renovate. Look, I understand why the Bears want to move. They have the smallest NFL stadium. I hear players all the time that I've talked with from opposing teams say, we ain't scared to play in Chicago. It's a walk in the park because it's so small. The Bears also don't own it. The McCaskies don't own it. So they're not getting any revenue off of Soldier Field, off the concerts, off the Beyonce shows or Bruno Mars. And if you have a dome entertainment district, which is really the trend around the NFL right now, you can have year-round concerts.
Stadiums are moving.
Final Four, Super Bowls, all that. And Forbes projects that just by the Bears moving to Arlington Heights and having a dome stadium, they become the most lucrative franchise in the NFL just off of moving, which I think is something that the McCaskies, who aren't the richest owners in the NFL by any means, they definitely are excited about that. But you're right, Jacoby.
That feels like a friend of the That feels like a friend of the family wrote that.
I ain't got no McCaskey plug. I'm just they're the poor billionaires.
This isn't just a Bears deal, right? This would provide property tax cuts or potentially these payments in lieu of for any development over $100 million. And, I think it's right to question, is that going to benefit the rest of us in the long term when this money is supposed to pay for schools and for roads and for public services and amenities? Like, is giving this amount of relief in the long term what's best? And I think that criticism is not only important, but I think it's well researched.
Yeah, I think it's very fair, honestly. I mean, this debate is really just comes down to, should we be subsidizing stadiums and properties for millionaires and billionaires off taxpayers' backs? That's the heart of the debate right there. And that's why people are so animated about it ultimately.
To your point, I understand we've covered this ad nauseum at this point. I know people are tired of listening to it, but it is taking up a lot of space in Springfield. It is to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. And it is very clear that over the last 6 or 7 months, the Bears have wrestled leverage back in this conversation and it's seemingly going to get the deal that works best for them, regardless of what the pushback is. And again, now you have mayors, from surrounding areas saying, we want a seat at the table. We're not being considered in all of this.
You're right. It's been talked about ad nauseum. Really, it's the politics of it all. Mayor Brandon Johnson, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, neither of them wants to be known as the mayor or governor that lost the Bears to Indiana. Like, come on, bro. That writes the legacy. It don't matter what you do. We people love their Bears, right? But look, also, I think people got to be realistic here. Most NFL stadiums of major cities aren't in the major city. New York Giants are in New Jersey and the Jets. Until I think they built a new stadium in 2027. The Washington Commanders were in Maryland, right?
Yeah, but that's supposed to be different for us up here in the Midwest, man. We're supposed to do things different.
I'm just saying, if the Bears move to Indiana and somehow become Indiana Bears or Arlington, I'm just letting you know, something is getting burned. It will not be the same. What is happening? And this is from somebody whose dad played semi-pro football for the Bears. You know what I'm saying? I am orange and blue. When everybody was buying Bears gear because they started winning recently, they was like, you just bought that? No, I've had this. And I'm a fan, right? Chicago all day. If you move somewhere else, I'm just telling you, something is getting burned, and that's the beginning and end of it. And I'm putting it on the internet. Because what is happening here?
I've already watched them lose to Indiana in a Super Bowl. I can't watch them lose their stadium, even though I am on record saying I am more likely to travel to Hammond, Indiana than Arlington Heights, just off distance alone, just off proximity and ease. But it does seem, Brandon, to ask the question that's been run into the ground, is the likelihood of a Bears-owned stadium in Chicago, is that off the stadium? Are they gone, regardless of how you split it?
I mean, Mayor Brandon Johnson's put it in his Hail Mary attempt. That's really why Pritzker is criticizing him. He claims that it is last minute for Brandon Johnson and his team to come in and try to make a change here or add Chicago into the mix.
Brandon Johnson's been touting them remaining for years now.
Absolutely. And he put forward a plan to keep them on the lakefront. He also pitched the Michael Reese site as well. So, I agree. It's not fair to say he has no plan or has had no plan, but it does. We're in a critical hour right now. And the Bears in the owners meeting this week, with all the other 31 NFL owners, they said their only two targets are Arlington Heights or Hammond, Indiana. Chicago is out of it for them, right? So, of course, the mayor's got to keep pushing. His office has to keep pushing. They argue there's holes in both proposals, and that, ultimately it benefits the Bears to stay in Chicago more. But it seems like the Bears have moved past Chicago as an option.
It's a crazy statement.
That's
Chicago
wild
Bears
business.
have moved
Okay.
past Chicago.
And I do wonder why not the Michael Reese site? Like that seemed like it would have been a good kind of compromise, right? It's still lake adjacent. It's decent in terms of like the area. You can create parking. You could probably actually have some tailgating, which is what the Bears have really been missing compared to other NFL stadiums. It's like a solid area to tailgate around the stadium. I'm kind of surprised that the Michael Reese thing didn't work out.
I am not, because they're not going closer to the South Side. Does not surprise me at all. They steal the McCaskies, my boy.
But if they went to Hammond, that would be closer to the South Side. You know what I mean? Like that would be great for Black Chicagoans.
They don't want to go there. They don't really want to go there, bro. That's all cap. That's all cap.
It is.
To get they move to the suburbs like so many other Chicagoans have in generations, right? That's their dream. That's their dream. That was their
big joker.
They family to get it out the mud in the city and then up and move to the suburbs. That's what they want to do.
Y'all don't want to go to Hammond, enjoy some pierogies, have some, go to the Horseshoe Casino a little bit, catch a show, and then catch a game. That'd be fun.
Nah, man, you just see that episode of The Bear, you cross that state line and you just start losing life. Like your spirit just start draining from you, man.
That is absolutely part of this problem.
The minute they get over there, they just collapse. They spirit, they friendship, they brotherhood, they morals. That wasn't just drinking that caused that. No, it's that proximity to the refineries. The weather is finally warming up, and maybe you like me and you dreaming about getting away, right? Maybe getting outside your comfort zone, taking a break, relaxing by some water, seeing something brand new. But what if I told you ain't gotta go quite as far as you think to accomplish all of that? That's because Illinois is literally in the middle of everything. We can get out in nature in breathtaking state parks and an epic national forest for hiking, biking, all around adventuring, or explore Illinois' small town charm, or visit some of the state historical sites like Lincoln's Crib, or maybe embark on the ideal road trip celebrating 100 years of Route 66 with giant attractions along the 300-mile route. Or maybe we just go ahead and kick back in Chicago. Finally take in the lakefront, the museums, the shows we promised ourselves we're gonna do all year and never get around to. However you're looking to get away, even if you stay at home, find just what you're looking for and a little more at enjoyillinois.com. Anna, you've been putting us on to some extremely dope bars in recent weeks. We recently talked about Fathom, and you got another one for us that just opened up in Northalsted. Tell me more.
Absolutely excited to share this story. First, giving a big shout out to, it's like my cousins. Windy City Time, they're like my cousins over there reporting on queer news. They are a legacy LGBTQ media outlet here in the city. And if you didn't know, there's two newsletters that come out of, actually there's more than two, but there's two culturally specific newsletters that come out of Windy City Times. Black Lines, which I contribute to, and then there's In La Vida. And In La Vida covers the Latina LGBTQ community here in the city. Lou, my colleague, is the contributor and coordinator for In La Vida. And they recently ran a story about this bar called El Bar in Northalsted. And I said, wait a second. There's a Latino-focused bar in Boys Town? Let me find out more information. I didn't know, okay? But the club just opened up on St. Patrick's Day. It is specifically Latino. The owner, Miguel, said this: every bar always has something like a Latino night, but I feel like it would be nice to have more Latino bars in the area and also try something different. Of course it would be. So they are located actually right off Belmont and Halsted. They are in the heart of it. 3209 North Halsted. They're open Thursday through Sunday, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. So absolutely a club. Okay. They got the mezcal on tap. They ready to serve you a margarita. Okay. And it's Latino music all day long, not just one night, all the time. And I wanted to amplify this because I know on my podcast, I'm not doing enough amplification of Latin LGBTQ life here in the city. I don't think we hear enough about Latin LGBTQ life here in Chicago. And why not start with a bar? Okay, we're going to do more. I want to share more because there's lots of organizations here that are doing good work that folks should know about. But I think this is pretty dope.
You talk about the owner, Miguel, who's been in the hospitality business, took over a family restaurant, opened their own restaurant, and is now opening up El Bar. How has he talked about the reception in the neighborhood? How welcoming has this venture been?
He said it's been positive, right? He said things is popping. Okay. The people are showing up. And I think what I hear from folks who do party in Northalsted is that they bar hop, right? They'll start at a Roscoe's and they'll go to another spot and then they're stopping at El Bar too, right? Because every bar up there plays different music and we already know it's white, okay? But sometimes they're playing some hip hop one moment, next bar is playing whatever pop song is hot in the moment. And then you can pop over to El Bar and hit some Latino music, and get your party on. So he said it's been a great reception so far.
I'm loving this menu. I need this El Mango Tango, house tequila, fresh lime juice, mango puree, and agave. Go on, pull up a couple of them for me.
That sounds like outside right there. That sounds dangerous. That sounds dangerous. I need to get back out to Boys Town. I be having a time in Boys Town. It's like the only time I get bought drinks, and it's a beautiful feeling. So maybe somebody can give me some of this mango tango. The economy's rough.
Pope, I'm glad you feel the love.
I do every time. Every time. They show love out there. They show love. I appreciate it. I really do. I really do.
When I think about how important spots like El Bar are, I think about La Cueva and Little Village, which is possibly the oldest Latino drag bar, not only in the city, but in the country. And, when I asked the same question when we talked about the importance of more lesbian-owned bars opening up in Chicago. Just how important is it to see more representation in these spaces?
It's critical. It is so critical. This divestment from diversity, equity, and inclusion is just the biggest gaslight of all time. There was like a gaslight of America. It is that. We are better when all are welcome, when all are represented, when everybody, right, can see themselves out here in the world, period. And so El Bar is doing that. And in a nightlife way, but people need nightlife. And if you know anything about LGBTQ history, bars were historically the only place where folks felt safe and brave to be exactly who they were, right? Despite the raids, people still showed up because they yearned to be around people who saw their humanity, who would let them just be who they wanted to be in the world. And so it is incredibly important. I'm so glad Miguel did this. I hope we see more of this, right? People come to Chicago because it is a refuge here in the Midwest, because they are looking for this, because it doesn't exist in other places. So let us do more of it.
So I wanted to have this conversation before we got out of here about some of our favorite Chicago rivalries. But before we do that, right, the Crosstown Classic was over the weekend. Since it's my first full day back, I hadn't had an opportunity to talk about it. I got on yesterday and, celebrated a little bit. But, the Sox pulled out the series with the walk-off on Sunday to take the first round of the Crosstown Classic. And this is a moment where both teams are playing over 500 baseball and contention in both of their divisions at this moment in May, right? It's a very long season ahead, but you could feel the energy in the park during those games. You could feel some of the animosity, some of the friendly rivalry. Like, do y'all subscribe to the Crosstown Classic and the rivalry that is the Sox versus Cubs? I'm somebody who is deeply entrenched with it, even as I have, some respect for the history that is Wrigley and everything that comes with it. But I personally think the city is better when it's heated. What about y'all? Do y'all just support both and think Chicago should support both teams?
I subscribe to the rivalry. I believe that it's a beautiful tapestry for this city. I tend to lean toward the White Sox myself. They're the scrappy underdog a lot of the times. And this time they have something to say, I just also feel like it's important to recognize, like, it's not just a clash of teams. It's a clash of cultures. A clash of identities, South Side pride, North Side pride. That's always going to be a battle, right? And so the fact that it's representative through these sports teams, I think it's great for the city, and it's even greater for the city when you have both teams being competitive. This series was incredible. I'm not just saying that because the White Sox did their thing in it. I'm saying it because it was actually some real games, right? It was actually this actually feels like a rivalry for once, for the first time probably since 2018, 2017. And I love that, man.
100%.
Yeah, I'm a Southsider all day. This is White Sox country where I live. So I'm here for the rivalry. I think it's healthy for the city. And at the end of the day, we're rooting for Chicago. So, whoever makes it to the finals, let's win for Chicago. But at home, it's absolutely South Side, North Side. I was driving home and I was like, oh, that's a lot of traffic. Oh, It's the Crosstown Classic. I said, it's just, I feel like it does bring the city together. So how many times are the folks on the North Side even coming that far on the South Side anyway? Like, I feel like there's just a lot of beautiful things that happen with the rivalry. I love it.
And both have their place, Both have their place. The Cubs are more corporate. It's more touristy. That's the Chicago attraction. The White Sox, that's the hood. That's the people. That's the barrio. That's the community. Better ballpark food, all that type of stuff. So I just think both have their place. Both need to be cherished. And having that clash of cultures, it's great for the city for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna carry the animosity forward for a ton of reasons. Like the way people forget outside of Chicago when they talk about Chicago's championships, the way lists often omit that '05 chip pisses me off every time I see it. I do get a sense as somebody who, I think last season went up to Wrigley, did some videos outside of it. And when I talked to Cubs fan, overwhelmingly, I did get the sense that they want, just both Chicago teams to do well. But I got this sense underneath all that there was this implied sunning, that there was just like, we don't think about y'all like that. Like, we don't really carry that forward, which I sometimes get from like New Yorkers who are always like, no, we don't talk about y'all like that. We don't think about y'all. I know that's a lie. But right, I see your game. I see how much of our swag you've stolen, but it's okay. And it's the same way. I feel that the South Side often gets omitted, that we get downplayed for the sake of Cubs lore, which I agree is glorious. I was in my grandma's kitchen when Sammy was smacking them, but I'm never going to let the hate go. And I'm just excited that both teams can show up and put their best forward. That's what matters to me at the end of the day.
I love hatred in sports. Let it fuel you. I'm all about it.
Outside of sports, are there any other Chicago rivalries you subscribe to? I like to lean into the Heroes Uncle Remus face off sometimes. I think Tavern and Deep Dish is one that's been put upon us, but it's not actually a real one. Like, I love high school rivalries. I grew up on those. Like, some Catholic League versus public school games, like, always got us up. What are some other Chicago rivalries that you appreciate?
I was going to say Tavern and Deep Dish, and I was going to mention how I do think it's a one-sided beef. Because I don't think Deep Dish folk be talking about Tavern style like that. It's just always the Tavern style. We're like, well, that Deep Dish ain't our pizza. It's like, all right, it's all right. It's okay. Relax. It's all right.
No, it feels like a CIA plant, to be honest. It feels like something that, like, this is a psyop to distract and disconnect Chicagoans. I don't think we care that much.
They both are delicious. I just, I happen to have the thin crust Tavern style more often. because deep dish is heavy.
I do love the ketchup lover and hater rivalry because I'm gonna put ketchup on it every single time.
Are you?
Oh,
I am.
really?
Yeah, I'm throwing ketchup on it every single time. And I'll be real, I've had a few Chicago dogs in the last couple months. I'm usually a Chicago dog hater. I think it's just too much on a hot dog. But the last few I've had were good. And one of the reasons was I had a ketchup.
Yikes. I thought
Both of
so
y'all
much higher
faces.
of you.
Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about, though. This is why I appreciate the rivalry, because y'all is yucking and like as if I ain't grow up on the South Side where all we had was ketchup, mustard, and relish inside the fridge. And people will go, oh, Kobe, but you grown now. Like, no. I still love it. I still think that most people who are eating hot dogs are having it with just ketchup, mustard, and relish and are not getting pickles and tomatoes and celery salt and all that. And so
I'd agree there.
I think it's made better. I think it's made a little bit better.
Are you a person that puts ketchup on the eggs?
That don't even has that shit even in the same category. That don't even make sense.
I just want to make sure. Well, I just need to know because ketchup itself. Look, I just feel like
Pope was trying to figure out his level of judgment. He's about to
pretty much. Because when I think ketchup, I'm like, dang, are you 5 years old? Like, what are we?
Wow.
But no, it's all good. Like what you like, bruh. But you know, hey, if you go do that, do that. I don't be pressed about it. I just have never been a big ketchup guy myself.
You don't be pressed about it. I just heard about 3 minutes of judgment. I think ketchup and mustard is a peanut butter and jelly kind of vibe, and I think they go together. You know, I like the tomatoes, but they usually too watered down. So I'm like, you know, throw a little ketchup on there.
I think ketchup on a burger makes sense. Like, hot dogs, fine. I don't know. It sounds like I'm talking to somebody from Indiana, but at the end of the day,
bro, you're not even from here, nigga. Damn, you got some nerve.
Oh, wow.
You got some nerve.
I knew that would get him. I knew it. I knew that was going to get him.
And I gave you the reaction you wanted.
Because those are fighting words, okay? Over these here airwaves, okay? Fighting words. Over the airwaves. I'm sitting here trying to think rivalries. Of course, Harold's and Uncle Remus is a popular one. Once again, Southside all day.
Chicagoans versus the parking meter deal. That's a very big rivalry. Everybody hates the parking meter deal.
Again, that's one-sided because they fleecing us for $1 billion. We were talking about GMs recently. GMs, Maxwell's. Y'all got a preference?
That's a great question. That's a good one. Man, I think I'm a Jim's guy.
I'm Maxwell's.
Maxwell Street all day.
I can't diss either one. I think both are solid.
Saying you choose one, don't diss the other one.
I know, right? I think both are great. I think
Mm-hmm.
both are great.
But Maxwell Street is in the hood. Yeah.
I'm not gonna put either one down. A good pork chop from Jim's though. Woo wee. Oh Lord. That's some good stuff right there. Some good stuff.
I need that audio cut in me so that I can put that on my soundboard. Ooh wee. Yeah. I need that on the board. Emmy
we know what I'm having for lunch.
Emmy said she once ended a date over somebody, I think, putting ketchup on a hot dog, which is
whoa,
wow,
you know,
that's strong. I don't know if I'd
another
go
level
that
of
far.
Chicago. I've had Chicagoans I've had them stare me in the face. They've got cussed out at the Wiener Circle. I didn't point me in the other direction. I'm not gonna put it on there for you. I'll make everything else, but you put that on yourself. I didn't got cussed out a few times for the preference. So I know there's a rivalry that exists there. I just think it's a little overblown.
That's real. Another rivalry might be one-sided. The Bulls front office versus the fans.
Again, fleecing us.
There's some animosity there, but I think it is one-sided. Even though it doesn't feel like it. It feels like some of the front office is like intentionally doing this to us.
I appreciate the Chicago rivalry with, western suburbs, not necessarily the south burbs. It's there a little bit, but I do appreciate the instinct to always ask a mug where you went to high school at. I appreciate the fact when people ask me that there's a thing that goes off inside of me, and I'm just like, and I say with Mount Carmel because I'm like, hey, I went to each of them equally, so I'm gonna just say Mount Carmel. So I was over there on 64th and Dante talking about that I was in class with Jordan Lynch. Stop playing with me. As we was in math class together, that's my boy.
As a non-Chicagoan or non-Chicago-born person, I love when someone asks me what high school I went to. It's like, oh, you think I went here, huh? That's nice. You think I'm gang. I appreciate that. Or even better, where they just say they just guesstimate. All right, did you go to Whitney Young?
Yeah,
you go to Morgan Park?
Of course, he made himself a Whitney Young graduate.
Well, this is two I hear the most. I hear Whitney Young and Morgan Park from me the most. That's all. I just put in what I hear.
Poe went to Chaz. Poe went to Percy L. Julia.
Dang. What about Walter Payton? Can I get a Walter Payton?
If you are listening to this and you have a Chicago rivalry that you didn't hear but you want to remind us of, please, 773-780-0246. Also, do you think the Crosstown Classic is good for Chicago? Let us know. Leave your name, your neighborhood, and your answers. I want to give a huge thank you to our guest today, Anna Deshawn. I appreciate you making time.
Always good to be here, family.
And Brandon Pope, as always, thank you for bringing the jokes.
I do what I can, bro.
For everybody else listening, please remember to subscribe to our daily newsletter. You could do that at chicago.citycast.fm. And while you're there, if you want to show some extra love to us, if you love this episode so much that you're thinking, I got to give these people money. They deserve my money, because how are they just giving me a podcast and a newsletter, great social content every single day for the free? The answer is with a lot of hard work. But if you want to sign up to become a CityCast Chicago neighbor, get invites to neighbors only events, then hey, you can do that at membership.citycast.fm, and it just starts at $10 a month. We also gonna throw you some ad-free listening, because as much as I know y'all love listening to your boy, I know some of y'all are skipping that part. I got the metrics. I got the numbers. So if you want to skip it all together, membership.citycast.fm. Of course, we can't get out of here without some good news. You can catch me this Friday at Lincoln Hall for Heavy Crown's Trench Baby Turn Farmer. I've been talking about this concert all month. It's going to feature King Louis, Bella Boss, and I just found out that my brother Achilles is going to be there as a special guest. This is going to be one of those nights in Chicago music that you do not want to miss. I'm going to see y'all Friday night. In the meantime, in between time, we're going to be back bright and early in your feeds. I'll talk to you then. Peace.